caravan on its way to Tyr, and I was able to get some, just some canvas and a nice agafari branch. Agafari branch, I have to say, that cost a lot. Wood is hard to come by, but I'm hoping when I get to Tyr, I can get to the Elven Market, maybe get something with a little bit more pattern, start to kind of deck out my nomadic accommodations better as we go. Say hello to my good friend Van Buell, old traveling companion, wanted to be buried in Draj, but I didn't know when the fuck I was ever going to get there. So, I decided I'd, bring his head along. If I ever get there, I'll make sure my old buddy gets the proper burial that he deserves. So, So how's everybody doing?
Drinking, feeling good.
What's everybody's libations tonight? What's your storytelling juice?
Oh yeah. Aaron, you. Oh no, Joe, you got
Black cherry flying embers hard kombucha.
Oh right, for that gut health and that brain
liver
easement.
failure.
Yeah,
that's right. Also, it's on theme. There's a bird on it. I'm just saying, it's flying embers for the flying man.
Very nice.
I said it before, but now that I'm recording, I found some stuff made in Santa Fe called it Direwolf, and I don't know if it's I don't know if it's from. I feel like it's got to be the George R. R. Martin estate, but it's got the little.
He's
dog
not
on
dead.
It. He's not dead, but some people could be ripping off that dog.
Yeah, but estate implies dead.
But it might be George's
corporation, LLC.
Yeah.
Whatever. You just killed the man. We're never getting that book now.
Mark, I don't need you. I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about this.
All the way off my back.
And in all fairness to Martin, the Direwolf predates anything he ever put to paper, including presumably a historical correlation that there were actually direwolves at one point in our history as well.
So, yeah,
Mark, that was
anyway, tell us about your liquor.
Martin mini cast.
But what is direwolf there, Joe?
Well, I currently spilled it all over my dick, so it's sticky.
It's currently eating it away.
But it is bourbon. It feels fine.
Oh, so that is one of the Martin contributions to the world of whiskey, to the world of everything that Martin is putting his label on.
Don't the Dothraki drink bourbon with their genitals?
Oh, that's a little no. They didn't go into it in the show. Their mouths are on their dicks. That's
That's why they don't interact with anybody else.
Yeah, people thought all Dothraki were just Jason Momoa's. No, they're dick mouths. That's what those animals are.
Well, I've got a nice Montepulciano de Abruzzo, which I believe is a Astacles wine from Tyr. I'm not quite sure.
How did you ever find a wife?
Right. Oof. Big oof.
And I will, if you're ever wondering how you can take care of those pesky drips off the bottle, you just do this.
Oh, that's what they call the experience move.
Careful!
We're off to a great start.
I appreciate the representation, but careful.
Representation.
Hey yo!
Hey, that's a spicy weenie. Okay.
I'm just drinking Starbucks.
Oof, man, that's the hard stuff. Hey, Simon.
Okay. So, any announcements that we want to get out of the way before we get into this? Nope. Raise your hand. Put your finger on your nose.
Let's play some Dark Sun.
Play some fucking D&D.
Some game.
Okay. Has everyone logged into Fantasy Grounds? You got your character sheets up?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I guess I should have done this before we started. I'm gonna share the map with everyone,
so
that y'all can see.
If you're doing that, then I'm gonna have to go back to OBS.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. At this point, I kind of feel like maybe we should just theater of the mind it for our viewers and allow you guys to see what's happening. So, because Fantasy Grounds is quite complicated, and I have had absolutely no time to try to streamline new things. So, because I'm doing a million fucking things.
I'm assuming I'm Caro for right now.
Were you Caro? You were Caro last time, correct?
Yeah. I just want to double check that I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not Crocus.
Okay. So I did not prepare initial flavor text for this week because we found ourselves last time deep in the middle of a intense combat, or the beginnings of an intense combat, as you had been called back just as you were about to venture out into the desert on your way to Tyr. Called back after a cave-in in the excavation site of the ruins of the dwarven city of Kemalok. When you had ventured in, you discovered that they had been working on excavating the end of what was called the Grand Hall, and it had collapsed on them. In the process, it had revealed... It had... God damn it. That Alexi is back there. If I don't do something, she's going to be talking all night. So I'll be right back.
I was wondering who that cheeky lady outside the tent was.
Maybe Aaron didn't return alone from the caravan.
He brought Alexi.
Didn't sound like Claudia.
God, the sun is sweltering out there. Ugh. I don't know what she's doing. She's just pacing around the tent. But
those camp followers, those pesky camp followers.
I told her to go bother some of the other, people in the caravan. So, she'll probably play them some music soon. I don't know. We'll see. When the cave-in happened, it had revealed something that Baroness and the dwarves of Kled had been searching for years. The throne room of the Kemalok kings. And unfortunately, quite a few dwarves perished in the cave-in, including the love of our dwarf, Brule Gari, who was crushed so horribly that there was no chance to save her. And so Brule had to do the hardest thing that probably anyone could possibly have to do and put her out of her misery. The last thing that she said to Brule as he put the knife in was, "Don't let them ever make you a slave." And then you worked to free several other dwarves from the rubble who could be saved. In the process, however, there was a second cave-in, and stones came down and crushed the legs of Zarn, your companion, since you had become enslaved, the dwarven fire cleric who was going to journey with you to Tyr, and now that future seems in peril. And as you approached to free Zarn from their imprisonment in this pile of stone, gigantic insectoid creatures began to erupt from the ground deep inside the throne room. Massive insect creatures that turned out to be ankegs. And you now stand upon this precipice, this mound of rubble separating the grand hall from the throne room as you are desperately attempting to drag Zarn free and to save their life, while these massive subterranean insects are screeching and chittering and beginning to dash towards you, as you have obviously pierced into their brood chamber. So, before we get going, we left off, it was Ma'ak's turn. We kind of lost track of where you guys were on the map last time. So, Ma'ak, why don't you go ahead and tell me where you want to be in this throne room. And for those listening who can't see, the throne room itself is a space that is roughly 50 feet by 60 or so. It's square. It has 4 massive angular pillars in the center of the room. There is a debris field to the right-hand side as you enter in, where the south eastern wall has collapsed and spilled its rubble out into the room. You can see an ankeg, one of these massive insectoid creatures, rising up out of that debris field. And then towards the back of the chamber, you can see a smaller debris field at the base of one of the pillars holding the ceiling up, where another ankeg has burst up from the ground. All around the circumference of the room, you can see alcoves set up high on the wall, on plinths. In the recess are sculptures depicting what you can only assume to be ancient dwarven kings, in styles of art that you are not familiar with anywhere else in Athos. It's incredibly angular and very finely tooled. And then at the very back of the throne room, centered upon the wall, is a dais upon which sit 2 stone chairs. And the thing that immediately stands out to you, which has actually stood out to you about this entire space, is that there is nothing added to this space. It is all carved directly out of the living rock of this granite mountainside. So everything from the statues to the pillars to the thrones themselves to the filigree and the designs in the floor, the stonework, which makes it look like tile, is all solid stone, one piece. So, Ma'ak, tell me what you're doing.
Okay, well, when you say it's my turn, is that because we've rolled initiative?
Yeah, when we left off last time, we had already gone through the initiative order.
Right. So my sixth sense ability had been active, which is probably why I'm acting first. So where Ma'ak was last time is you could basically imagine him standing astride wherever Zarn is buried, so that any other rubble that might fall from the ceiling will hit him instead of his dwarven friend. And he's desperately, or at least was up until he saw these Ankheads. I presume I know what they are if you're telling me their name, right? So, but he was basically trying to dig Zarn out of the rubble, and then his head snaps up when he hears the screech. So, does Ma'ak have any personal experience fighting these creatures with his pack or his clutch, or is this the first time he's seen them or faced them himself?
Give me your roll for ancestral memory.
Oh, okay. So I might trigger an ancestral memory here. All right, awesome. Yeah. So then I have to roll, I guess, a nature roll. That makes sense. So, okay, I need to roll. Oh, good. I am skilled in nature. So here we go. Sorry, did it not roll? There we go. And I guess my best is a 13.
13. You do have ancestral memory of these things, but no iteration, nothing in that ancestral memory speaks to any conflict that you may have had in past lives.
Okay. So I don't basically more what I'm interested in this role is, do I know their strengths and weaknesses? Do I know how to fight these things?
From that, it's anecdotal. What
Okay.
you know, that they have a nasty acid.
Okay.
That they can use as a weapon.
All right. Do I, for instance, though, do I presumably know that they are like tremor sensing? Like they sense where people are standing on the ground and attack that sort of idea? Or have they seen us and at this point it doesn't matter?
No, they do have good vision.
Okay.
Yeah, they can see you.
All right.
And
so it's too late then.
It's too late. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then can I basically then I will spend the rest of my turn doing my best to free Zarn from this rubble. But with my other 2 off arms, I will pull my chachkachas and prepare to throw if this thing charges me.
Okay. Give me
no, let me change that. I will keep my chachkachas on my harness. I will pull my Githka and use that to defend Zarn if it attacks us.
Okay, so you are going to attempt to do that. Go ahead and give me a athletics check.
Athletics. Okay, you got it. No. Not good.
You're going to need help. You're definitely going to need help. So
I'm probably struggling with the weight of it. So what I will do, just so you know, then with my bonus action, I will end Sixth Sense. I don't need it anymore anyway. And I will switch to what we call Mind Hand, which is, or also Wild Talent, or in the Thrycreen Kata, which is basically my minor psychokinetic ability. It has a few other abilities, but that's basically what I'm switching to now. So I'll have that next round. Okay. And maybe I'll use that to help unbury Zarn, is the point. But I think that's the end of my turn.
Yeah. Brule.
Yeah, so just trying to figure out what he actually has on him as a weapon. Is it only a wrist razor?
You should have.
I've got an obsidian dagger and a wrist razor as far as I can tell.
Obsidian dagger. You also have a Karakal.
Oh, okay. Is that a two-handed?
It is the sharpened jawbone of a large creature lashed to the haft, forming a sharp club with 2 forward-facing heads. So,
it's just that.
Think a pick made out of jawbones, a double-headed pick made out of jawbones.
But this is not. Because looking at his abilities, he has like great weapon fighting with like two-handed weapons and all this stuff. It's not one of those.
That is a versatile weapon which you can use two-handed. And it does 1d10 plus 4 slashing damage. So it is a formidable, nasty piece of work.
And at this point, there's still rubble and bodies between Brule and the ink eggs.
Not bodies. Where you were attempting to, or where you are currently with Gari's body.
Mm-hmm.
You are basically right on top of the middle of the rubble pile.
Okay.
So there are no further bodies between you and the nearest egg, which would be the one that is emerging from the large rubble pile to the southeast of the room.
Okay.
So we're going to put you up here, where that is.
He had. I'm struggling to find it right now, but he had basically an intimidation thing.
Yeah, you're going to want to look on your skills tab.
Yep.
So intimidation, yeah, you can roll intimidation. Not sure if it's going to work against a giant insect, but you can give it a try.
Sure.
Whatever you want to do.
I mean, ultimately, that'd be great if it worked, but he's just gutturally yelling as he charges. So,
Okay.
So I don't know if he's not going to take an action to try to intimidate. He's just gutturally yelling as he charges.
Okay, so you're going to scream, you're going to yell. So let's see, that is going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So you can just get there as you run over the sort of lower end of the debris field.
Okay.
Go ahead and just for kicks, give me an intimidation check on your scream, your rage-filled scream.
Okay. Nope.
Does not seem to have any effect upon the giant insect that is coming towards you. But go ahead and tell me what you're going to do.
So it looks like he has 2 actions, so he's just gonna take 2 big swings with the caracal.
Okay.
Do I do that swing from within?
So what you want to do is you just want to control click on that ANKEG, which I already did for you. So you have it targeted now. So go ahead and give me your attacks.
In the combat tracker or?
On your character sheet, you can just go to your actions tab.
Okay.
And
Great.
roll on that 20-sider. Give me a couple rolls on that. Your caracal glances off its carapace after the first strike, but as you bring it back up, you come right up underneath, between a couple of its plates. So give me damage on that second hit.
Okay. Here's that.
Okay. So, yeah, that's quite a mighty hit. So, give me just a second. Okay, yeah. So you hit it real good, and green ichor begins to spew down from the wound, splashing across your face and drenching your hands. Thankfully, the blood of the ANKEG is not acidic. So, having said that, we're to Desi.
I would like to run as high as I can on the rubble of the doorway. And as I am doing, I would like to cast bardic inspiration on my arc, which I understand is not the most strategically advantageous, but he is part of my original tribe and I love him best. So.
Okay. So you give bardic inspiration. Is that a bonus action?
Bonus.
Okay. Now, so you as a bonus action, you give Ma'ak bardic inspiration. What do you want? Do you want to do any actions, however, this round?
I do. From my perch, I would like to attack the same, what is it? Monster that Brule did. And I will try to hit him with my short bow.
Okay. So you scramble up the rubble pile, which is difficult terrain for you. You're able to get up to the top. Within range, and give me your attack on that giant insectoid creature. 15. Hold on, let me target you. Let's see, and you hit. So go ahead and give me damage.
Where do I roll damage?
You'll just in your actions tab, you'll go right over to right next to the attack. you're going to just double click on where it
Oh,
has the damage
see.
listed.
Look at that.
Okay. So you were using your short. What were you using again? Sorry.
Bow.
Short bow. So yeah, you're using your short bow, and you managed to pierce the chitin. The Ankeg rears back, screeching from its now 2 wounds that it's taken from the group of you. And you can see more green blood is pouring down underneath it, streaming in rivulets down its carapace.
I'm grateful to have something to take out my anger on.
And Char, you stand at the base of the rubble pile. That's Caro, sorry. Where is Char? Right there. You stand at the base of the rubble pile. What are you doing?
I would like to. Can I use my razor gauntlets to light them on fire and start punching some of these bug things?
Okay, so yeah, that's a. What is that? Let's look at your character sheet real quick.
Okay.
So we know how that works, because I do not remember off the top of my head. So you were going to... What ability is that? Where is it?
Is that under spells, maybe? The fire?
Should be channel... Wait, no. Where is it? Okay. Crunchy stuff. Just a second. Abilities.
Under the
flame. It'll be in flame. You can briefly ignite small objects like torches or weapons. As a bonus action, you can create 1 cubic foot of flame that burns for a single round, igniting flammable objects. If used on a weapon, the next attack that weapon with that weapon before the end of that round deals an extra D6 fire damage. Okay, so you've got to hit with it this round for it to work. So the problem is you're at the base. You've got to make your way over the rubble pile, which is difficult terrain, which is going to reduce your speed by half. So that's going to be 10, 20. You're not going to be able to get to one of those insects this round, so you might want to hold off on that.
Okay.
You can basically get just to the other side of the rubble pile.
Is that the best thing I could do right now? Probably?
Well, what you could also do is dash, and you could double your movement, but that would use up all of your action. But it would get you closer. Still couldn't attack with that wrist razor. You could, however, choose to use a spell if you really want to do something this round.
Yeah, can I use a spell? Can I cast a fireball or something?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so you don't have Fireball, but you have Sacred Flame. You have you have Command. You have Continual Flame. The best you've got looks like Sacred Flame. And that has a range of 60 feet. So a flame-like radiance descends upon a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a dexterity savings throw or take 1d8 radiant damage. The target gains no benefit from cover, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So that's what you could do from this distance, this round.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. So I am going to do a dex check on my... little Ankeg. Okay. Let's see. That is you. Okay, versus your... Okay, sorry guys. Give me just a moment. None of this is is this automated? Oh yeah, okay. So we're gonna do this.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Now I
Yeah.
can.
Okay, sorry. My internet has been crapping out for the last 10 minutes, and I turned everything off I could possibly. So just
You
so you know,
haven't
I'm
missed
here.
much.
That's fine. I'm just touching base because I haven't been able to hear. Like everything kept crapping out. So hopefully it's working now.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a second as I work through this. Okay. Okay, so Char begins to cast Sacred Flame, and as you do so, you see this bright, vivid light streak out from your finger, and it glances off the carapace.
Oh,
Okay.
Boo.
ouch.
And that's all she wrote for you. Which brings us to the Ankegs. So you see the one towards the back of the room, writhe around. It throws its head up and screeches, and it just tosses giant rocks out of the way as it begins to skitter and dash towards the group of you. It ignores Brule, who's engaged with its fellow, and makes towards Maak, standing atop the rubble pile. So,
Wow, they don't have trouble with rough terrain, do they?
no, because of how large they are.
Son of
However, it can't fully get there. But what does happen though, as it's dashing towards you across the rubble-strewn floor of the throne room, it rears up, and you see its mandibles spread, and you hear this hiss. And for just the slightest moment, Maak, you see fumes begin to rise from its open mouth, and then you see a stream spray out towards you. Give me a dexterity save.
All right. That is a 17.
17. Okay. Good. So, let's see. How do I do this? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do this way. 5. You end up taking 5 points of acid damage.
All right.
As you feel the spray splash against your chitin and begin to sizzle and hiss. And where it trickles into your joints, you can feel it burning deeply. But you can already begin to see pock marks forming in the surface of your chitin, marring some of the delicate scarification that you've already done to your body.
I will probably let out a hiss of pain, but I will do my best to keep the acid from dripping on Zarn.
Okay. And then the second Ankeg rears up. You see its arms kind of flail wildly as it then comes down and lashes out at Brule with its mandibles, attempting to bite you. Oh! Critical hit. Oh boy, and does it bite deeply on Brule.
Ouch.
Brule, girl is hurt badly with that one attack. It bites into you deeply, and you also feel the dripping, stinging sensation of acid as it begins to burn into your flesh. And you now have to give me a athletics or acrobatics check for Brawl.
Okay. Did that not show up on the tracker?
Did not.
Well, that sucks because it was a 19, but I guess
19? No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You manage to escape as the giant insect begins to try to grapple and hold on to you.
So
you're able to wriggle free.
I have a question about a reaction that I have. I don't know if it is triggered because we were already next to each other. Brace, when a creature moves into my reach of my melee weapon, I can use my reaction to expend a superiority die to make one attack against the creature. This doesn't qualify
that would
we were
be
already here.
Yeah, because you were already engaged.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. And you engaged it. It didn't engage you.
Sure.
So, okay. So, it's now Caro's turn. Caro, I believe that you were up near Ma'ak when last we left.
Okay.
Helping with Zarn.
Are we just Theater of the Mining? Because I don't see a map.
You should. Let me share it again. Can you see it now?
Yes, now I can. All right, let's see here. So I am going to... Let's see here. I'd like to, if I can, charge it in. And
okay.
I'm going to take out my obsidian axes and take a couple of attacks at him.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to swing again. First one glances. Second one glances.
Yeah. With both of those obsidian swords, you were glancing off of its carapace. The first one glances off of the carapace on its head, that broad fan, and the second one glances off of one of its segments in its legs as it raises up and swats your obsidian sword to the side. And it slowly begins to raise up, and looking down, it's like shaking and screeching at you, acid dripping from its mandibles, ready to devour you.
Oh, piss.
But we'll have to wait for that. Zarn, who is trapped. Let's see if Zarn can aid at all in their escape from this. So, athletics check on Zarn with disadvantage. Zarn is far too weak at this point to be of any help with pulling themselves free from the rubble, Ma'ak. They look up at you and say, I'm too weak. I think I've lost too much blood. I'm sorry, my friend. I can't be of help. Leave me. Just leave me.
Ma'ak shows no sign of doing anything like that.
Of course. And so, it is Ma'ak's turn.
Oh, it is. All right.
I was trying to. Did I put like in Fantasy Grounds? Did I put Bardic? Do you have Bardic Inspiration? I'm sorry for messing up the.
It's just that is totally theory of the mind. Keep that.
Okay.
I mean, I think maybe there's
it's
a way, but in all honesty, like I think that we should try to theater of the mind as much of this as possible. So just
totally fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. So basically, Bardic Inspiration gives me advantage on my next skill check. Is that right?
No, it gives you a plus D6 to your next roll, and you can choose to use it before or after, or whenever you want.
All right. Well, Ma'ak has to make some kind of assessment here before he makes his next action. Do I think I'm making any progress at all freeing Zarn, or do I need something more drastic?
You need help.
Okay.
You are not going to be able to pull Zarn out by yourself.
All right.
Now, granted, with Bardic Inspiration, I might give you another check.
Okay. I mean, I think Ma'ak would try. So, that was still athletics, correct?
Yeah. Okay. So I think how should I do this? Because this is Dark Sun, it should probably always be the most difficult path. So I think because of the fact that you failed the first time, technically I think I should give you disadvantage on the second, but you can add that D6.
Okay, fair enough.
To your roll.
All right, so I am desperately trying. So what anybody who would be observing Ma'ak at this point, you see basically my Githka starts to just hover in the air next to me, like some invisible person is holding it. And then all four of my arms are scrabbling, clutching at little rocks and boulders, anything I can lift, and tossing it aside. But then you see there's almost like four other invisible hands also grabbing and chucking rocks. So I'm like digging furiously, trying to pull Zarn out, and I will roll at disadvantage. My worst, nice. My worst is the 17 plus die 6. Plus another 6. So that is a 23. 23.
You okay, how do I do this in the way that is not derivative of somebody else?
It's okay to be derivative. You're inspired. It's an homage.
You are in your inspiration. You pull from a deep nexus within yourself. You pull from the way. You have the you establish this psychic link with Desi, who instills in you this confidence that you momentarily felt did not exist within yourself, and now you know you can. So describe what happens.
Okay, so probably what you see is almost furious waves of psionic energy are sort of reverberating off my furiously scrabbling claws as I am clutching at rocks and throwing what probably should be like very, very heavy objects, but in Ma'ak's telepathic force field almost that he's establishing here, sort of just, flinging them aside, and I ultimately managed to hopefully unbury at least one of Zarn's legs and can get them free.
You do unbury one of Zarn's legs, and as you do so, you're pulling so forcefully that you suddenly slip and fall backwards, and Zarn comes with you.
Okay.
And as you then re-establish your footing, you look down and you can see the bloody stump of one of their legs is still embedded in the stone that you've pulled them free from.
Oh no. Oh no. Zarn! And I will probably take my two minor arms and clamp down around it like a tourniquet to keep them from bleeding out.
And you can begin to pull them free. You'll have to do that next turn. However, you have fallen back 5 feet in your effort to free Zarn. Brule.
I'm cheering you on. You are incredible. You are incredible.
As blood begins to pump from Zarm's leg and drench the stones slick, and Brule.
So Brule will use his bonus action to use his second wind feature to regain 1d10 plus 3 for his HP. There's not a way to do that in the character sheet, right? I'm just gonna roll a dice and do it manually.
Yeah, it's manually. And then you can go into your main sheet and just change it. So
a big 6 coming back.
Yeah. I think I set up actions, but at this point, in the spirit of being cinematic, let's avoid as much of the gritty stuff as we can. Okay, so you second wind. You stand there and you tense, and the veins in your arms ripple and the muscles bulge, and you take a deep breath and you steady yourself, ready to lunge back into the fray against this giant insect. And what do?
Once again, Brule, oh! And Karakal strikes.
Okay.
So, with great weapon fighting, that's on a damage die. On the hit, I don't think I get a reroll.
No, that was a miss on the attack. And you used your bonus action to do second wind, so that's your turn. So yeah, you managed to psych yourself up and recenter yourself and catch hold. Take a breath. Take a moment to steady yourself against the onslaught of this massive creature. But as you then go to swing, once again, it glances off of its carapace. Desi, what are you doing?
Well, if I understand this correctly, I have as many bardic inspirations as I have charisma modifiers, and I'm damn charismatic.
Yeah.
So I am going to be strategic about this, and I'm going to cast it on Char.
Okay. So Char, you now have a bardic inspiration.
Cool.
As Desi. How do you... So this is something that would be fun to establish now early in the game. How does Desi give her bardic inspiration? What does it look like?
Say that again, because my internet glitched.
Make jokes.
How do you give someone else your bardic inspiration? What does it look like when you do that?
I imagine I yell. I imagine to Ma'ak, I would have yelled something like, if we can fight our way off of a Mechalot and overrun an elven stronghold, we can beat these bastards. And I imagine that I would yell to Char something like, if we beat them, Zorn can live. Kill them.
Okay, so that's a verbal component. The way that I'm imagining bardic inspiration functioning in the world of Dark Sun is that there's also a psionic component to it. There's a environment of a landscape of the mind.
You want a visual
to this, and so think of it. I mean, I almost have to say it. Think of it in terms of like. Shit. What's the spell in fucking Harry Potter where everybody has their Patronus. Like a Patronus. So like in Harry Potter, the Patronus is a physical manifestation of the psychic energy and power of a wizard. In Dark Sun, it's going to be an internal manifestation from their nexus that connects psychically from you to the individual within that psychic space. So you have the chance to visually define exactly what that psychic space looks like and what that avatar of yourself, how that avatar presents itself to the recipient of your inspiration.
Like you can send like a slideshow kind of thing, like send
You could
an image.
you
This
would
is
be
me,
able
Malibu.
to you would be able to send a psychic manifestation of your will to another individual, and it would manifest to them as a being of light. But what does that being of light look like?
I think another way you could interpret this is, what would your spirit animal be?
A
You know
Mongol
what?
horde.
A what?
A Mongol horde.
Mongol horde.
Oh,
I mean,
wait.
Fights
Hearing-
alongside. Now, there are no Mongols in Dark Sun, but a horde of some kind, sure.
Hearing
the
like
idea
just the
that
drums and like feeling the presence of people charging with you as she
Yeah.
screams at you, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
But through a marbled hallway with exquisite velvet drapes and huge, well, what would be Roman pillars if there was a Rome.
yeah.
And
Well, no, I mean
statuary.
that kind of architecture that would bolster the confidence of the individual, place them upon a pedestal of power, where you're going down this marbled colonnade that is filled with columns of light and drapes of shining incandescence across marbled floors that glow from beneath, and perhaps then set them upon this dais that gives them the confidence over all.
And
Does that
the
make-
dichotomy of the cultured versus the wild kind of coming together explosively.
So
That's
a
right.
Gilgamesh Enkidu kind of struggle, this unification of king and wild man, this coming together of everything into one individual. Okay, so
And then I'm going to shoot an
you
arrow.
wait. So okay, so now I don't want to be the one to narrate this. Tell me then now what it looks like as you give bardic inspiration to Char. What does Char experience in his psychic space?
Yeah, well, just what I imagined, just sort of, what I said. I think the experience would be, to feel this incredible charging force through a almost narrowed aperture, so it's when it releases, it's explosive. And I know that what I'm trying to do is trying to tap into sort of your racial loyalties. And also I'm seeing that you use fire and Zarn uses fire, and any sort of camaraderie that you have, I am trying to tap into that to make you fight with your heart like the world is going to end. And then I'm going to fire an arrow.
And you're going to fire an arrow. Okay, so give me that attack roll.
Awesome.
Actions. Short bow. Ooh.
You used all of your effort sending this psychic energy out to Char to bolster his confidence. And when you came back to yourself, you were still slightly lost in that dizzying moment of contact. As you attempted to pull that nexus of energy back into yourself, the disorientation was not quite gone, and the arrow goes wide, and you hear it shatter
Oh.
on the wall behind the Ankeg.
Oof.
But now, Char, you feel this energy come into you, and there's this moment inside your mind where you feel like you are a sorcerer king standing in the halls of some great city, and anything is possible. What do you do?
Quick question: when someone uses the bardic experience thing, is there a lingering psionic link to them? Like, am I enamored with her after this, or am I loyal to her, or is there like because that's a pretty intimate action? Is there a residual non-relationship, non-sexual, but just in a way of like a connection, like a...
Technically no, but I like that idea that, especially
it is kind of boundary
more
crossing. It could be creepy.
I mean, there is certainly a connection. There is a psychic link, and it's not an intrusion. It doesn't feel like somebody has invaded your mind. It feels
I'm thinking more like Florence Nightingale syndrome. You know, when someone saves your life, you feel a connection to them, but sort of the inverse.
That might depend on how well you
Know,
roll.
I might die, so then I'm gonna haunt you.
I would say yes, but those are role playing choices to make based on the situational stuff. There's nothing mechanically for it. Like, there are charm spells, there are other ways to like make you loyal mechanically speaking. And I don't think that this is one of those.
I like that idea. Like, I think that it should be everyone's choice to decide how their characters respond to these moments of intimacy, because it is a moment of intimacy. And I would also say that your character probably has never experienced this before.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, that I'm so isolated normally, and I don't really know anybody else in this group, that maybe that would be stronger in me because I have less emotional
and there are
entanglement.
Currently there are no bards who live in Cled, so yeah, I mean, choose to do with that what you will.
Well, what I would love to do, if I could, and this is very superheroic of it, I would love to like take a running dive at one of these bugs and my flaming fish, like punch it right in the mouth, like into its maw.
Okay, so yeah, I think give me an athletics check.
Okay, what tab is that? Skills?
So that's going to be in skills.
Athletics.
It's going to be like the fourth one down, and then where it says +2, just double click on that little 20-sider icon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Well, you get to add die 6, though, right?
No, wait, hold on, because you can choose to add die 6 anytime you want, and you can save that bardic inspiration. You don't have to use it now. That can stay with you. So let me, as a DM, and since you've never played 5e and you haven't played, it's been over 30 years since you played D&D at all. I would recommend you holding off on that bardic inspiration, because as you start to rush forward, even though you feel like a million fucking ceramic bits, you realize as you start to lunge up that pile of debris, you're not there. There's no way you're getting there. It's not happening.
Okay.
So, but you do start to climb up the rubble pile. You can either choose to dash and try to get the rest of the way there, which is going to use up all your action, or you could always cast that Sacred Flame again.
Let's try the Sacred Flame.
Okay. I mean, you feel really good about it. You feel really
So
good about
one of us has to be
everything
good
you're
at
doing
something
right now.
so far today. For the law of
It
averages.
just makes people drunk. I just make people drunk.
Yeah. There is an intoxicating effect. The close, that's actually a really good way to describe it.
Bardic and
The closest thing that Char could really equate this feeling to is a really good buzz from some very good
Whatever you're drinking.
Kank nectar. Yeah.
Psychic liquid courage.
very
Nice.
good Starbucks.
So okay. So
No, if I was drinking it, it would be Charbucks.
Charbun.
No.
Okay. We've got our pun master. Okay. So
Oh no.
What just happened here?
I didn't touch any buttons, but I somehow rolled a 22.
Apparently,
No.
Did you have
Hold
to
on,
say
because I'm gonna roll the save for you. So let me do that again because I don't know what just happened.
well, that was a dex save, but I don't know what that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So because Sacred Flame requires a dex save against the target. But let's see, Char save dexterity. I'm not sure what the hell's going on here. Sorry guys, let me do this. Okay. All right. So you blast that Ankeg full force with your Sacred Flame. So go ahead and give me. Here, I'll roll damage for you because I've already got it. I've already got your character sheet open. Okay. You hit it right in the face. It rears up. It screeches in horrible pain. It's still standing, however.
And how big are these things again?
They're large creature, about 7 to 8 feet at the shoulder.
Okay.
So they're quite large. And
there are no dead ones yet, right? They're all still.
there are no dead ones.
No
yet.
dead ones.
I don't know why my thing keeps rolling dice for some reason, but ignore that unless I say otherwise. Okay, so we're over here with Caro facing off against his Ankeg. And once again, it rears up and it comes down for another bite.
It looks like the other Ankeg's turn was skipped. I don't know if you're seeing that in the tracker.
No. Like,
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why those ones are there. They shouldn't be.
No, not 3 and 4, because it did Ankeg 1 turn, and now it's on Ankeg 2 turn.
Yeah, because I have Ankeg 2, Ankeg 4.
Oh, okay.
There is no Ankeg 1, and there is no
Right.
Ankeg 3.
Got
So
Thankfully.
Got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why those are there, and I'm ignoring it. So let's just keep going.
I just thought that was a dark portent of things to come.
I mean, not for the moment. Yeah, it just ignore the man behind the curtain.
TPK. TPK.
We'll figure this out as we go, people. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I don't have Caro targeted properly. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, so it comes down and it lashes out, trying to grasp you, Caro, with its mandibles, and you're able to dodge back and use your weapon to glance its mandibles aside as it goes in for a poisonous, lethal bite.
No, not today.
Meanwhile, back over here with Brule, the Ankeg moves slightly forward up the rubble pile, tossing stones aside, and then lashes out at its sacred flame in attacker. Give me just a second.
And again, this doesn't qualify because I was already like within striking distance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not moving out or into your threatened space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it comes down for a mighty bite on Char. Doing 12 points of damage, and Char needs to give me a dexterity save. So what you're going to do, Mark, on your character sheet, on your main page, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see where it says saves, and you're going to double-click on that 20-sider icon, that little gray 20-sider icon.
Under Dex.
14. Oh, you just barely are able to sidestep and push your way free as its mandibles, which are multiple, and they are let's get a clear picture of this. The mandibles of this thing, the head of the Ankeg is nearly as tall as a full-sized human or elf. It is taller, it is longer than a dwarf is tall, and just as wide. And the mandible itself, if it was able to get a hold of you, could probably wrap, the mandibles themselves could wrap around your body entirely.
So we're talking Starship Troopers bugs.
Oh,
Yes.
No, because
the
they
smaller
were the
ones. Yeah. Well, maybe you're the bad guys. Yeah, very much imagine the smaller bugs in Starship Troopers is exactly what you're facing off against. Not quite as fast and mobile as those, but certainly as deadly. And as those mandibles try to gather you in towards its mouth, you're able to push them aside and back up just enough to keep from getting trapped in its maw. And now, Caro, what do you do after you narrowly missed getting caught in your Ankeg's mandibles?
You fucker. I take 2 swings at him. Hey, and I'm going to hit, and I am also going to cast a bonus action of Ensnaring Strike.
Wait, hold on. Because you weren't targeting your guy. Go ahead.
Okay.
Roll your damage on that first hit again.
Okay.
No.
1 point less.
All right.
1 point less.
These dice are loaded.
So I take my obsidian axe, I go to crack it between the plates, and as I do so, I mutter a spell of Ensnaring Strike. And it's a bonus action. When I hit with a weapon strike, a writhing mass of thorny vines appear at the point of impact, and the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained. Now, if it's a large creature, it has advantage. While restrained, it takes 1d6 piercing damage at the end of each of its turns.
Strength savings throw. I've got advantage. What's your DC?
I have no idea. Because I didn't build this character.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look. Caro, actions. You're using, what was it again?
Ensnaring Strike was the spell.
Snaring Strike.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next time you hit a creature with a weapon, attempt. I like how I'm rereading exactly what you just read. And your it's 13. Okay. Okay, he had advantage. He rolled a 13. This is serious. Oh, god damn it. Why isn't there a place where it just has your
So with Rangers,
spell save
I think it's
DC
Wisdom
listed.
plus.
It's 8 plus your Wisdom plus your proficiency modifier, so it's going to be 8
3, 5
plus your plus 3. That's 11 plus
13.
13. He just barely succeeds.
All right.
Okay.
And then
so,
I'm going to strike at him again because that was a bonus
Okay.
action. And with my other axe, I was about to roll damage on him. I go to strike him again. Oh, bam!
Yeah. Wham!
And I bring my other axe up on the opposite side.
Yeah. Now, both of these hits, you find purchase between the plates of this giant insect. They do not, however, seem to bite too particularly deep. The Ankeg does rear and shake, and your weapons get forced out as it screeches and screams. But you only see minor rivulets of green ichor blood dripping down the sides from this assault.
Okay.
So, and we now are back at Zarn, who really can't do anything. So, Ma'ak.
Okay. Well, Ma'ak, when we last left, had clasped two of his hands around Zarn's leg to attempt to keep them from bleeding out. At this point, I will basically scoop Zarn up in my arms.
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry, Rob. We've got to call out Happy's Transistor Man, who just said, "Longer than a dwarf is tall and just as wide." I guess that's our catchphrase for a while. So, wait, who is that? Who is Happy Transistor Man?
That's me.
That's you. Okay. Damn it. I thought it was somebody listening to us.
Just living it, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, living Twitch live. Okay, Twitch live. Okay, Rob, sorry. I'm sorry.
Got him.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. So say that again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take that from the top, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we last left Ma'ak, he had clasped his hands around Zarn's leg to keep from bleeding out. At this point, he'll stoop down, scoop Zarn up into two of his arms, keeping at least one hand on that bloody stump as best I can. And for those paying attention, you would see the color of my eyes go just like crimson red, and I begin to shake furiously, and suddenly my chachkachas begin to float around and spin around my head like a whirlwind. Other stones sort of join them and then flick off, and I will gesture with one of my arms to the largest stone that I think I can lift, which would be about 60 pounds. If I can pick the one that crushed Zarn's leg, I'll pick that one, but otherwise I'm just choosing one in my field of vision. And you see that stone rise up off the ground, and then I fling it with psychic energy directly at the Ankeg that Karo has been fighting. And that Ankhed owes me a dexterity saving throw for half damage.
I think he is at disadvantage because he is ensnared.
Oh, that is awesome.
I will double check.
No, remember, he succeeded on his ensnarement.
No, you said he didn't. You said I barely succeeded.
Barely made it, or I don't know. Okay. Either way.
Yeah. No. You're right. I'm sorry, Joe. You're right. He's ensnared. I believe. Yeah. So
Okay.
let's roll with it. So he's ensnared. So give it to me.
Okay. So if he is ensnared, then he has disadvantage against. I assume I can find a 60-pound boulder somewhere in this room.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. Okay.
They're
so-
wealthy with rocks.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't figure it would be hard. Basically, I just want to pick up the heaviest thing I can chuck. Right.
What is the roll that I need to make? Dex check.
A Dex saving throw for half damage
Okay.
against 5 die 8.
Okay.
Well,
So give me damage.
Sorry.
Go ahead and make here. I'm gonna target him for you. So go ahead
okay.
and give me damage.
Sorry. How do I? Sorry, I thought I made that a 5 die 8, but it doesn't seem to be. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Let me retweak this, and we'll get it.
Just collect all your D8s.
Sorry, I got it now. I got it now. Okay, so he's targeted with. Okay, here we go.
Yep. All you have to do is roll damage.
20 total.
Oof.
20 total on NK2. Okay. All right. So you batter the ever-loving fucking shit out of this Ankeg, and you see a massive, like basically one whole half of that broad shield on its head, that fan on its head, cracks away. And you can see now green ichor blood, gooey bug guts starting to just stream down its carapace and onto the ground. It's still standing. It's starting to writhe around chaotically, screeching. No! No! But it's still alive, and of course, if anything, you've made it vastly angrier. But you did some. It is obviously very discombobulated. It's confused. It's lashing around wildly, seeking out the source of its pain. Trying to center itself.
Well, while that is very satisfying to see, my telekinesis has improved so much. Ma'ak is not even looking in that thing's direction. He's looking down at Zarn, shaking them, and basically whispering, "Hold yourself! Hold yourself!" and trying to keep Zarn conscious.
He's Zarn. They're it hurts, it hurts, and he's and God damn it, they keep saying over and over again, I can't. They just keep saying over and over, I can't.
All right. Ma'ak nods his head and looks in the direction of Cha'ar, the other fire priest.
Okay. But it's Brul's turn now.
So I assume would it be a bonus action or an action to attempt to intimidate and or inspire?
That's, depending on what you want to do. Tell me what you want to do, because it could be a free action.
Oh, okay. I mean, Brule was just going to yell, I don't need to leave this chamber, and you for sure will not, as he strikes down with it again. He's just trying to talk some shit as he dies and or kills this thing.
Well, don't even worry about rolling. Your words mean nothing to this insect creature.
Great.
But give me your attack roll.
Great.
Oh,
So
that was Did everybody see that? Did everybody think that was going to be a 1 that turned into a 19?
Yeah.
100%.
But also, just for the record, with my fighting style, that is a critical.
Okay.
Nice.
So give it to me.
And then we just have to manually add the critical bonus damage? Or
No,
whatever?
I will give you that modifier. You are now critting.
Okay.
Or no, you're not.
Do I just need to roll? What else do I need to roll?
Well, normally that would be the dice would be doubled.
So another
Well,
D10, or just double the.
It would be
roll?
doubled. Like you would get 2 9s.
So just another 9 to that.
Yeah, why didn't that crit for you? That should have critted. I gave you the crit. I don't know. Roll it again.
Do the whole thing again?
No, I mean like roll your 9 again, because you should be rolling 2d9 or
Okay.
2d10 rather, 2d10, and then
Right.
it's going to add your
All right.
damage.
So this is me just rolling a D10, just loose. Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Well, it doesn't matter because as you bring
It said dying anyways.
yeah. As you yeah. Oh god. As you bring your caracal down into the fleshy part of the Ankag, which you have managed to locate and focus your attention on.
Well, I feel like, he went to strike at Char, so now behind his giant head shield, there's just this spot between his head and his body where I can just strike his neck or whatever.
Yeah, and you bring it straight down, and the whole lumbering mass of this thing collapses into the ground, and a plume of dust spumes up around you. And and it's laying there twitching. It's spasming, its segmented legs kind of twitching out, but it is no longer a threat. And
Did
it
you get
is
yours,
now-
Brule?
What's that?
I role played, and I said, "Did you get yours, Brule?"
And then Brule just responds by spitting on the Ankeg.
Okay. Desi, what are you doing?
I'm going to look to Ma'ak, and I don't think we have any psychic link open. But what I would like to know, I want to know the sit rep with Zar, and what I am asking is, do I spend bardic inspiration on Zar to save the life?
Can Desi roll medicine or something like that and make a
I'm
determination?
looking at you, buddy. I'm looking at you.
All right. Well, Ma'ak is not actually looking at Desi. Ma'ak is looking straight across the room at Cha'ar and moving in that direction. Actually, you might even see that my legs are tensed, and I'm probably going to leap across the room in one single bound and be right on top of that other dwarf. So it seems like Ma'ak thinks that the other priest is the only thing that can save Zarn right now, because I assume Zarn's turning pale. The words are coming less frequently. I get the feeling
they're definitely they're bleeding out quickly.
Mm-hmm. So that seems to be what Ma'ak is doing.
Oh God. Do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put bardic inspiration on Zarn, because I think even if they die, it will be a very triumphant way to go. This is not strategic. This is for love. This is just for love, and then I'm going to fire an arrow at the only standing.
Everything I do, do it for you.
Yeah, he's like headed. Zarn is like headed through the halls of Valhalla in his final moments.
Yeah.
No, if Zarn doesn't fulfill their focus, they come back as a banshee.
Oh.
Right.
So
Then
that's
I'm
cool.
definitely giving it to Zarn.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you
Inspired
see,
banshee.
as Desi says, something to the effect of, "This is not strategic." Ma'ak is just nodding his head grimly, but moving in that direction nonetheless.
Because I am
Okay.
thinking bardic inspiration imbues you with the best of man-made things, of the best of art and music and architecture and poetry, while being charged with the visceral, violent sex, death, and blood of nature. If you're going to go, that is the way to do it.
I would prefer to have bardic inspiration in my final moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That is what I do for bonus, and for action, I am firing an arrow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Oh!
Oh, that was a 1.
Mm.
And for some reason, it didn't. Oh, wait. Okay, because I'm not up to date on my tracker. Oh,
I'm not seeing it either. I don't think it counts.
No. You got to scroll down to the bottom of your.
Yeah,
your
it says
wall.
automatic miss for me.
Yeah, no, it was as bad as it gets.
Whew, okay, give me just go ahead, Emily. Give me a random D20 roll. Just
should've-
pull a D20 from the bottom of the screen up into the log.
Should have cast bardic inspiration on myself.
Let's see. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So your bow doesn't break.
Oof.
But okay, let's see. what
Caro
happens
is right
here.
there.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Let's see what happens. Okay, that was a 17 you rolled. So your bow doesn't break, your string doesn't break, but what happens? What happens here? You're overzealous in your drawing and your firing of your bow, and you fire the bow before you have it all the way up, because your standard method of, like combat firing is a very quick. It's a very quick action. It's a pull and release. It's a pull and release. As soon as that you get that string back to your ear, you let it go. The problem is, as you're pulling your bow up, you're released too soon, and it clatters off the ground. Char, give me a dex save.
Wait, Char or Kara?
Wait, yeah. Did you mean Char or
Oh,
Caro?
wait. Right. I'm sorry. You're going at because that Ankeg is
Right,
dead.
that okay, it's dead.
Caro, give me a dex save.
All right, I need to go back to main. And
Get that main.
Why do I hear the Benny Hill music as we do this?
Gentle 20.
Oh, okay. Caro, you hear that twang, and then the instantaneous sound of an arrow deflecting off of the ground behind you, and you don't even take a moment. You glance to the side, you dodge to the side, and begin to turn, and as you do so, you see that arrow just sail past.
I am
Right
so
where
sorry.
you were
I am
standing.
so sorry. Oh, shit.
But it is Char's turn now.
Okay, I want to do my flaming razor gloves. Now that I'm standing in front of this thing's open mouth, I have to be able to kill this thing now.
Well, it's already dead. The one in front of you.
Dead.
Wait, that one, I thought it was the other one that was dead.
No. I stabbed
The
this
one,
fucker.
the one that you
Oh.
went after is dead, but you can make it to the other one with no difficulty and use your attack.
Can I do multiple things? Because I want to rip off a piece of its armor to use as a shield.
That would be
would-
part
that
two.
That would take an action. That would take a full action. So okay. So
dead.
a little D&D school. Every round, your character gets 3 distinct things that they can do. They can take an action, they can take a bonus action, and they can take a reaction. So different things cost different things. I'm a great teacher, and so actions are going to be things like making an attack, casting a spell, rummaging through your bag for spell components, that are tucked away, hidden, helping somebody up, trying to get free from a grapple.
How
Those
far
are
away am
all
I from this
actions.
other bug?
You're 25 feet. You can do your full movement, which is 25 feet. You can get there. A bonus action is going to be any action you can take that specifically says this is a bonus action, and then a reaction is going to be likewise any action you can take that says this is a reaction. Otherwise, it's going to be an action. So if you literally wanted to tear something off of something, you would have to give me an athletics check. That would be a whole to do.
That's too much stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you could definitely move from where you were over to the other end keg.
If I'm 25 away, can I use the sacred flame, because that goes 60 feet, and try and burn this bug out?
Well, let's take a look and see how many slots you have at that level as a wizard, as an exarch.
But that would be a more
Isn't Zero-
strategic maneuver, not putting your body at risk.
Yeah, I'm still recovering.
Is
Sacred
Flame's a
Flame is
cantrip?
Sacred Flame's a cantrip, so you can do it all day long.
Woohoo! Till I go blind.
Okay. Till you go blind or get hairy knuckles. So
Palms, not knuckles.
right. Palms.
Just blast it.
Hairy palms. Okay, so give me. So let me do my save on this guy, and let's see if he's able to. Oh nope. Unfortunately, your Sacred Flame once again glances off of its hard carapace.
Don't I get to roll for that?
No, he gets to roll for his save. Then you would get to roll for your damage, but he made his save.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a general attack, you would roll to hit, but with a spell, it's just like your he rolls against.
Well,
your
unless that
depends.
spell has an attack
right.
component, but Sacred Flame is automatic. It's just a spell save.
Can I do another Sacred Flame as my bonus action?
No, because that is a full spell, which takes up a full action. But let's take a look and see if your character does have any bonus actions that they can
throw
do.
a rock at this thing.
Sounds like a full action.
Not
to
for
me.
damage, but for spite. I think you could.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, you
that's
could
fine.
kick rocks.
Just
You
as
could kick rocks at it.
so Mark, just so that you know, when you're looking through your character sheet, on your actions tab, you can click on any of those red dragon heads, and that's going to pop up the description of what that thing can do, and then it's going to show you your casting time. So it's going to be you're going to go down, and the first thing that it's going to show you underneath whether it's like what school it is and what level it is, it's going to say casting time. So for instance, Sacred Flame says 1 action, so that takes up your action. So once again, like when we go over this in 5e, you can in a single round you can move your full movement rate, which for a dwarf is 25. You can then take an action. And there are a lot of different things you can use your action for. You can make an attack. You can cast a spell. You could do something called a dash, which would be to move your full action again. So you could move up to 50 feet. That would be you running across the battlefield, but then you wouldn't be able to do anything else. And there's, a whole fucking laundry list of other things that you could do as full actions. There are certain spells that do allow you to do a bonus action. So, for instance, with your Inflame ability as an Exarch, that is a bonus action. So, if you, let's just say, for instance, if you were to, from where you were, attacking the Ankeg that just died, if you were to run across the 25 feet to get to the other Ankeg that's still alive, you could use a bonus action to light up your wrist razors, and then you could use your action to attack it. That would then give you, if you hit the Ankeg, you would do the damage from the wrist razor plus the bonus damage from the inflamed ability that you just did. A reaction usually is going to be something that happens not on your turn, but like it says, as a reaction to something an opponent does.
Okay.
But you have to make sure. For instance, rogues get the cunning action ability, which allows them to dodge and shit as a reaction. So these are all things, you just got to pour over the character sheet, and figure all that. This is D&D. It's it's not
Punchy.
yeah. It's got a lot of fucking rules. So okay, so at any rate, you cast Sacred Flame. It glances off the carapace of the Ankeg, leaving it unaffected. And Ankeg number 2 is still focusing its attention on Caro. And it comes down and bites into you. Let's see how deeply.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Huh?
That was
What, Aaron?
Caro.
26 points of damage.
Now he's Caro syrup.
You guys see a splurt of blood.
Yeah, not a splurt of blood. As the Ankeg rears up, and it screeches, and it crashes down, and the ground trembles. Dust settles from the ceiling, and it buries its maw into the waist of Caro. Give me a dex save, Caro.
Doing good.
Once again, you manage to bat your way back from it, but not able to keep it from opening your entire front. A massive gash just opens up from your shoulder down through your chest into your stomach and across to your opposite hip.
I feel it has definitely cut into my muscle.
Yeah, and blood is pouring onto the ground beneath you now. This was a massive hit, and you should give me a Constitution save on top of this. Caro collapses to the ground after this ridiculous hit from this Ankeg, and you can see blood begins to pool around him quickly. Shit. it's your turn, Caro.
A Constitution check to see if I regain consciousness.
You're not unconscious. You've collapsed to the ground. Well, yeah. Give me a Constitution check to see if you can maintain consciousness.
Oh, what? Did it go? It did, yeah.
Wait, what was it?
It was a 20, but then it just barely ticked over to a 2. So I got a 5.
5 total.
Yeah. There's, oh man.
Hi, Caro.
You fall to the ground, and you, for just a moment, you like. What would you blurt out in the 3 seconds that you have consciousness left?
Okay, time to role play. Oh fuck!
Wait, what? What are you doing?
That was what he blurted.
Yeah, I said "oh fuck" and then passed out.
Oh, that's what you blurt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's apropos.
And scene.
Statistically speaking, it's actually the most common thing uttered before death.
Oh fuck.
Really?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's grim.
Rob has seen a lot of people die.
I'm sorry. Am I getting anecdotal?
Yeah.
Whenever I kill people, they say, "Oh fuck!" Like,
Yeah.
most often.
Yeah.
Unless they're millennials,
That's
and
why-
then it's
that-
like, "Oh, thanks."
That's why I use ball gags before I kill my victim.
Whoa!
Too much talking,
Please.
chatty.
I always go like the Pulp Fiction route and say, if you say "oh fuck" one more time, motherfucker. Okay, so yeah, you hear that as Caro collapses to the ground, and it's Marc's turn.
I see that happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was tensed in mid-spring, but now I suddenly don't want to leave Desi's side. So instead, Ma'ak will essentially... can I move? I just basically want to step to the top of that embankment there. I'm not really moving. I'm just getting a good position. I will produce basically 2 of the chachkachas that have been sort of orbiting around my head all this time. Now,
Can we discuss what a chachkacha is? I just don't.
Okay, sorry. You see, floating around my head are 2 of my triangular crystalline throwing wedges, called chachkachas in my people's language. Essentially, they are sort of a combination of like a boomerang and a shuriken. And as basically they've been orbiting my head the past few
it's
moments.
Zenith circlet, right? Like, but they're triangular.
Kind of, yeah. It does the same thing, but it's a 3-pointed star, and it comes back like a boomerang. Yes.
It comes back like a boomerang if I miss my target.
Yes.
But if you hit your target, it stays in them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Like an arrow.
however,
yeah.
However, I am telekinetic, so technically I can just tug it back to me when I'm done if it gets stuck, which is probably what I hope to demonstrate right now. As you see 2 crystalline throwing wedges now suddenly land in the palms of my 3-clawed hands as I under create this like figure 8 arc of these like dark, smoky crystalline wedges as they hurl through the air and fly at my target. So first is a 8, which probably misses. Second is a 10, which may miss. I don't know, Aaron.
No, it misses. They unfortunately they both glance off the carapace.
All right.
Of
Well,
the
then
keg.
then they sort of lazily return in their arc and find their way back into my hands at the end of my turn, and I give off an exasperated huff. Let's try that again.
It's Brule's turn.
Garo! And I run over and stab at the fucker.
Give me. Let me change your target. Go ahead.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah,
big money.
a big money glance off
Big
of that.
money.
Glance off of that insect exoskeleton with your mighty 3 modified to a 9. But yeah, no dice.
These beasts are too
Desi.
tough.
Desi, what is Desi doing?
I'm a bit demoralized by that last try, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to short bow the bastard.
Oh, a hit.
Oh, ho, ho.
Let's see how mighty a hit.
Oh,
Mhm.
All Might
Uh,
exceeds hit points by 9. I don't understand.
well, wait, no, hold on, because I wasn't targeting the right person at the time.
Nah,
You get
it's got
9
it should die now.
9 points damage.
9 points of damage is 9 points more than its HP. That's good.
No, you hit the Ankeg squarely in its head. It goes into actually through one of its eyes, and you can see
Legolas
that
shot.
it is. You can see that the Ankeg is half collapsed to the ground. It is barely moving. It's still alive, still chaotically swiping out, but obviously just on the edge of death's door. And it's now Cha'ar's turn.
Kill it! I have no bardic inspiration to give, but kill it!
I haven't used the bardic inspiration.
Oh, that's
yet.
right.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
gonna
the time.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna kill this fucking bug like no tomorrow.
Hey,
I
Are
want
you- are you
to
gonna- are you gonna-
stomp on its head.
you gonna charge it?
I want to beat the shit out of this thing.
So tell me
My
what
punch
you
tried
do. Tell me what you're doing.
I want to reach into its mouth with my flaming razor gauntlets and then spread my arms. Give it a predator face.
Give me your attack. Give me your attack.
What would that be? I don't know.
Go to your okay.
So
Go
it's
to
the
your
wrist
action.
razor, and then you have to manually add the flame damage, or how's that?
No, I will. Don't worry about it. I'll add that.
Well, they should still be on fire.
You have to
Does
do
it go
it
under
as
the-
a bonus
the-
action on your
well,
turn.
no, you're doing that as a bonus action now. You've been holding that off because it only
Okay.
lasts for 1 round. So you have to make your attack with it as soon as you do it. So
Okay.
as you begin to dash across the space, the gap that separates you from the Ankeg that's wildly flailing around, you use your bonus action to ignite your wrist razors. Give me the attack. So go to your actions tab at the very top. You're
Yep.
going to see the entry for wrist razors. Double click on that big black 20-sided die.
Okay, hold on.
Don't
Uh,
roll good.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't
roll
roll
the
bad.
Roll the,
No bad rolls.
Let's have this be climactic.
Is that the one with it says +4 next to it? That tab?
Yeah, next to the hand. Just double click on the dice itself.
Nice.
Yeah.
20 fucking
Yeah.
2. That hits. Now double click on where it says 1d6 plus 2 slashing.
Big money.
I mean,
big money.
Oh, okay.
Big money.
Okay.
yeah, just double click on the yeah. There we go. Okay.
Nice.
So you race across that space that separates you. And as you're doing so, you touch your wrist razor with your opposite hand. It ignites into flame. You leap up onto it and you come down and you force your forearm across its neck, severing the head entirely from its body, and the flames erupt and cauterize the stumps. So as the green ichor and whatever venom or poison that might be able to leak out of its esophageal cavity is immediately staunched by the flames of the power of the Crimson Exarch, and the two massive components collapse to the ground. The head falls over and just rocks until it comes to a stop. The mandibles take a few moments longer as they curl in on themselves, and then the body itself falls upside down, and the legs slowly curl in like a dead spider.
Nice. I have a question.
Yes.
Is it possible, and forgive me for this is a dumb question, is it possible to take some of the venom from the head of this dead one and store it in some of the scales, since I'm assuming it's to have is like used later?
That was my plan.
That is a possibility. It will require some astute checks. But as you stand there thinking you have triumphed in this moment.
Oh no, you don't.
You
pancakes 1 and 4.
You begin to hear rumblings. Remember how I said that this chamber has naturally bored tunnels high up on the wall. You begin to hear the sound of something coming from those tunnels, chittering, the sound of skittering rocks, the sound of scratches upon stone. And then you hear something else. And I think this is a good time for us to take a quick bio break. 10 minutes for those watching. We will be back in 10 minutes so that we can do refills and, use the Yeah,
Rule is life.
we've got just about an hour to do it. So, okay. So as that second Anke collapses and you begin to hear that rumbling deep from in those other naturally created fissures or unnaturally created fissures up in the wall, suggesting that something else, some other creatures are coming, and you just hope that it's not more of these giant insects. You then hear from behind you the sound of rubble starting to shift, not from above, but upon that mound that separates the grand hall from the throne room.
You mean that I'm standing on?
That you're standing on and that Ma'ak is standing on. It's a common saying in Athos that the only certainty in life is death. This is false. A more appropriate idiom might be, the only certainty in life is misery. Dwarves understand this more than most, for the lives of dwarves are compelled by an all-consuming purpose, a focus.
Oh no.
It's a singular motivation that is so overwhelming that it persists even beyond death. If unfulfilled, it leaves behind a broken spirit filled with eternal rage. It leaves behind a banshee.
With inspiration.
Brule. Caro. You have worked with the dead that lie beneath your feet for years now. They have become your boon companions, and one has become your love. So you know that those who lie shattered beneath the stones of this wall right now, most of them, their focus, their sole purpose in life was nothing more than to excavate as much of the ruins of the ancient dwarven city of Kemalok as they possibly could in their lifetime. A simple focus, a devoted focus. Their life would always be about uncovering new chambers, delving deeper. And as long as they continued to do that, as long as they continued to open new passageways, find new chambers, then they would die like so many other dwarves who have seen their focus complete. But there's one here who had a higher purpose. And that higher purpose was in alignment with one of your higher purposes, the higher purpose of Brule. And Brule's higher purpose has always been not just to delve deeper into the hidden chambers of the ancient dwarven city of Kemalok. No, but to see the ancient city of Kemalok returned, not necessarily to its ancient glory, but to see it returned to its spiritual place within Athos, a city-state for dwarves, a place where your people can come and find community and kinship. And that could never happen until it was completely excavated. And its people returned, and a thriving city reborn. And the woman who just died, that you mercifully helped to pass peacefully on, shared that conviction with you. Her sole focus in life was to see the ancient city of Kemalok returned to a state where dwarves from across Athos could come and live as a people with a homeland and a community and a purpose. And suddenly you realize, in this moment, when you hear that noise behind you over your shoulder, you remembered. She'll never rest. And then you hear the scream. And you stop stark in your place. You begin to tremble. And you slowly turn and look over your shoulder, and there, rising up from the rubble, is her broken body, but no longer is the loving companion you knew. Her eyes now burn red with hate and rage as she stands, and you can see she flops to the side, and she has to hold herself, brace herself against one leg to keep herself from breaking in half. But her skin has already turned gray with hate. And she screams. Everyone needs, hold on just a second. Everyone needs to give me a wisdom save.
Does Caro because he's down?
Not Caro. You are not seeing this. But anyone with any wits about them. Okay, so we are going to start. Let's see.
Where do I find his wisdom on my tabs?
So
On the
that's going to be
main
on
tab.
your main page on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Under save, you're going to double-click on the
Oh, I see it.
insider by.
Yep,
Yep.
I see it. I see
Gotcha.
it.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, so we'll start with Brule. Brule, you look into the eyes of your lost love, and terror overcomes you. And all you can do is flee. And you run, you begin to run towards the exit.
Like past her?
Yes, past her, because you know that there is no other way. Right now, your sole goal is to get out of the mines. And so you flee 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You can get right next to Ma'ak, basically, as you flee.
And this is a fear response?
This is you are experience absolute terror. It's I would like you to express what might be going through your character's mind right now as you look into the eyes of your love, who now only possesses burning hate, not just for you, but for all life.
So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Brule would run. I think that Brule would, depending on his hierarchy of motivations, he would either seek to take this abomination down to pursue his ultimate goal of seeing this city returned to splendor, or he would, with this shitty wisdom roll, succumb to the overwhelming negativity of the moment and drop his weapon. I don't think
so
you would
probably
run.
Well, okay. So
I think he might casually pace towards her, weapon down, and say, like, I'm
like
sorry
that
that
idea.
we won't be able to achieve our goals, but I will be with you. He might give up.
So you trembling, you drop your weapons and begin to pace towards her, tears streaming down your eyes as you seek common cause with her.
And I'll just say, Gari, I am here. I am here and I am sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ma'ak, you're taken aback, but stand your ground. This is a... I'm not going to have you roll for ancestral knowledge for this. This is something really unique.
Mm-hmm.
You've never experienced before. As you see this woman rise.
This is the first time Ma'ak has encountered something undead, is what you're saying.
Not necessarily. Go ahead and give me a check on that.
Okay. All right. Let's make that. Is that? Hold on. Sorry, Mark.
Well, it's going to be your ancestral knowledge thing.
Well, right. That's a lore. Any lore-based. It's basically any intelligence-based.
Would be a arcana. This would be arcana-based.
Okay. Give me a second then. And I'll spend that point because I want to know. So I'll have advantage on this roll. And this is Arcana.
Oh, those are good rolls.
My best is a 25.
Okay, so you have definitely encountered undead before,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as in past lives. You have not encountered you or any of your past personifications have never encountered a dwarven banshee, but you have heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they are quite rare in the world of Athos because dwarves themselves are a great minority within the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you've heard of them, and so you do understand what it is.
So I understand that dwarves basically have this kind of racial obsession, and if they die what, not fulfilling it, they come back as undead to what, finish the job, or to just take revenge on the world?
No, they can never
work out?
finish the job. It is their eternal punishment to live having unfulfilled their purpose.
And would they just haunt a locality, or would they?
They will.
travel?
They will eternally haunt that place, that thing, that person, that idea that left them unfulfilled. So it's utterly unique to the individual. Ma'ak, you realize in this moment, even though you've never experienced or had any interaction with the Banshee before, you realize that this Banshee now will forever haunt this place, this throne room. The ruins of Kemalok will be her eternal place of purgatory.
I would imagine that this would be a complete affront to the entire Thrycreen way. This is a violation of the cycle and Dedge and all that kind of stuff. Do I know, when you say eternal, is it like there's nothing we can do and her ghost just haunts here, or do I have any information that a ghost could be put down, quote unquote?
You could you have a sense.
I mean, I rolled really high, so I've just...
Yeah, you rolled pretty good. So you do believe that it is possible that a Banshee could be destroyed.
Okay.
If a Banshee is destroyed, instead of going on to some restful place or to some rebirth, it will go into oblivion. Or perhaps something worse. Which what worse is beyond even your scope.
Well, I remember hell. So there are worse realms than this.
There's that like you have no racial memory of it, but other Thrycreen of your pack have discussed it through your first 6 years as a Thrycreen.
I'm sorry, I thought that was like central to my character's background.
No. Wait. No.
And not only racial memory, there was the incarnation awareness.
No, wait. Yeah. You're not. I'm not refuting what your character understands. But what I'm saying is that the Thrycreen that you have been raised with, some of them have talked about things that you yourself have no racial memory of.
Oh, sure.
Things called the black and the gray. And you don't know what those things are. You've never understood what they mean, but you know that they are worse than death. They are worse than hell. Whatever, because there are Thrycreen amongst your pack who do not understand your experience. They do not understand what these hells might be.
Right.
And you do not understand what this gray and this black might be.
No, I imagine that these are topics that consume my regular meditations and cause me much trepidation. The cycles of life and death, and I have nothing but sympathy for this poor dwarf woman. But do I know how to put a banshee down, or do I think that fleeing is my best option?
You don't. You know, all you know is that anyone that any stories that you have ever heard of from your packs of fellow clutchmates or packmates who have encountered banshees have all been they've it's hopeless. They've never returned.
Right. So at this point then I would probably take first assessment of Desi and get a sense of whether I think she looks like she's about to flee or surrender or something like that too. And then I'll decide what to do. So I am basically delaying my action until after Desi acts.
Okay. And to be clear, Brule understands that. Does Brule understand that there's no putting Gari down at this point?
No. As dwarves, Char, Brule, Caro, when you see Gari rise, you know hope is lost. None of you have the capacity to confront her at this point. She is she will destroy you with an absolute burning vengeance. The only hope I will say, Brule, give me a wisdom check, an insight check.
Yeah, I was gonna say I already fucked my wisdom check.
Insight for this one, yeah.
Well, it's worse or similar. I'm wondering is, does Brule think he can appeal to her? Does any part of her still exist? Does she still have the same goals? Does she love me?
The only thing that you probably think you could do is save the rest.
Yeah, so what
that
Brule
means staying.
Yeah, what Brule is going to, beyond what he said, is, Gari, let them go. I will be with you. Embrace me, and we will be here together. We'll continue the work. Let them go. Come to me. I am here.
At the same time, you see half a dozen more Ankegs emerge from the walls of the throne room.
So I'm walking arms out saying, embrace me, Gari. I am here. I will be with you forever.
She begins to move towards Brule. What do the rest of you do?
I lie there unconscious.
All of you, take Caro and go.
I want to jump and pull him out of the path of this psycho banshee and get him enchanted by her, because that's a stupid sacrifice.
Well, okay,
I want to dive and Brule and knock him out of the way.
Well, okay, so before you make that final determination, what as an exarch, what Char would know, probably more than any other person in the village besides Baroness and Zarn, would be that Brule and Gari have bound their foci together. And if in this moment, the only hope that Brule has is to die by Gari's hand, because you suddenly see, and actually, well, hold on, before I go any deeper.
Would this shift my focus? Would my focus shift to saving everyone?
Yeah. And
that's cool.
Char, give me an insight check.
Because if my focus shifts to saving you all, then I die peacefully.
Yep.
Well, your focus might... Yeah.
That's a hero's death. That's cool.
It might be a hero's death. Okay. Unfortunately, Char doesn't see this. Char does not recognize that in this moment your focus has shifted to Okay, so let's think about it this way. Gari has turned into a being of unimaginable power, an undead being of unimaginable power, which all dwarves are raised to understand. The Banshee is the boogeyman. And the idea of becoming a Banshee is this all-consuming paranoia that dwarves live with. Think about, it's straight out of like Fire and Brimstone Catholicism. And in this moment, Brule realizes that the only way to save and preserve the promise of Kemalok is to save the rest of you, to sacrifice himself at the altar of the Banshee Gari in the hopes that it might somehow turn her into a Banshee that can be sort of pushed deeper into the caverns of Kemalok, sequestered away. Unfortunately,
then
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. What's your question?
But isn't she gonna haunt this ruin forever? So wouldn't Brule want to do something to? Because if his ultimate goal is to have this city excavated and returned to glory, it's gonna be tough if there's a Banshee living in it, right?
Absolutely.
So would is Brule's love strong enough that if he sacrifices himself to her, that it alters her negativity, or is that a pipe dream?
Ultimately, it seems like Brule's love was stronger than his focus, based on my role.
If Brule leaves, there's a certainty that her rage will increase. If he stays, there's a possibility that her rage may just hum.
There's also a chance that she'll kill all these Enkhegs and keep them out of the Dwarven ruins. Right?
Like, at the very least, she becomes a guard to this chamber, and nothing shall pass beyond it.
And it might take Exarchs to, keep her at bay or something, but...
And keep in mind, there are no exits outside of those created by the Enkhegs. There are no exits out of the throne room.
If Brule gets killed by a Banshee, does he become a Banshee too? Is there a risk of this being doubly?
Not if my focus shifts, because generally your focus would only shift if you complete a task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if by your death you can preserve the future of the city by simply
containing a threat,
by containing it to the throne room, then it is possible that the work can continue.
Do Banshees kill with their scream?
They can kill not just with their scream, but with their visage. They can kill several different ways.
Hey Brule, if you want to die, can you run over by where the 6 bugs are coming? And be like, over here. So when she kills you, the scream takes out the bugs, then you're doing a heroic demise as well.
I mean,
is that really silly to ask?
No, I think it's all part and parcel. I think as long as I get her to come into this chamber as you leave, then this chamber becomes a killing pit for the remaining
Enkeg.
Well,
yeah. I will say that, like, while you guys are having this having this crisis of conscience, Desi has just booked it completely out of the completely out of the ruins. And Desi, as you emerge from the ruins, you can see that the collective population of Kled has gathered outside of the mine, and they are getting ready to mount a new expedition. There's like a dozen or more dwarves who are gearing up, putting on armor, getting weapons, ready to head in, and you can see the old man Barnus standing there as you emerge, terrified, from the ruins of Kemalok.
Do not go in there.
Barnus says, What's happening? What has happened inside the ruins?
There are enormous, do I know what they're called? There are cicadas, enormous cicadas, and now there are zombies, and oh my god. And then I'm going to turn back into the aperture of the entrance and say, Mac, bring Zahn! I cannot believe I forgot Zahn.
He says, calm yourself, child. Please, tell me, take a breath. What has happened?
There were cave-ins, enormous bugs coming out of the ground, and then after we defeated bugs in the throne room,
the throne
everyone...
room. He places his hands on your shoulders and says, You found the throne room. You found the throne room.
Is overrun by gigantic bugs. Is overrun.
No. You see, like, crestfallen. This hope swells and then is just dashed. Bugs. What kind? What kind?
Do I know what they're called?
Well, your character, no. You just know that they're not Thrycreen.
Yeah, but they look sort of like cicadas, don't they? With big... They look like cicadas with big shields on their heads.
Yeah, they like a cross between a cicada and a triceratops. Yeah, something like that.
Fun.
I don't know about you guys, what part of the world you're in, but the 17-year cicadas are out in Maryland this year. It's like a plague of locusts in my backyard.
Oh yeah, no, we don't have them over here.
We don't have them here either, but there was just a news story that warned people that if you're allergic to shellfish,
don't eat
please
them.
don't eat cicadas.
Yeah.
Don't eat. Yeah. Also, they should have also said don't eat cockroaches because that's probably the same thing. But
and it should have had the word Florida in front of that statement.
Yeah, you're in Florida.
Roasted.
Aw.
So yeah, no. He says, Hank, eggs. Oh no. Where are the others? Are they alive? Have they all perished?
Well, I ran. I don't think it looks good.
You see Barnus quaver, and he begins to, like, his knees give out, and another, like, a dwarf that you think is probably one of his sons rushes up to support him before he collapses to the ground, and he begins to weep. Back inside,
Brule is telling Char, Take him out. Take him out. Leave me in. There's only one way. This is what I'm here for. This is me now. You go and you take him. He can't carry himself.
And I'll say, I'm not going to make you roll for it, Karo and Char, when you look into Brul's eyes, there's a moment, as a dwarf, there's always a moment when a dwarf realizes their focus. And foci can change. It takes an intense moment to create a focus, and it takes an equally intense moment to change that focus. But when that focus changes, it is with purpose. It is with dedication. It is not something that happens lightly. And other dwarves just know it. You just know it. And when he looks at you, you know that Brul's focus has shifted. And you know there's nothing else to say.
Ari and I will protect this throne room. We'll make sure that the Ankegs don't go deeper. We will rule here. Together. Forever.
Hi.
As this happens, Gari's banshee form approaches with arms open towards Brul. What does Brul do? It's like she's going to come and embrace you.
I open my arms and I await her embrace.
As he does so, you see the broken form of Gari. Black blood still seeping down from the massive wound at her waist, as her spine and her entire top, her torso is bent 45 to the side by the stones that have broken her body. She comes forward and she puts her arms around Brul and she opens her mouth and screams into Brul's mouth. And you see Brul's mouth open and fill with light, and you see it begin to stream out of his ears and his eyes and his nostrils. And you see his arms go limp at his side for just a moment, and then you see him start to spasm, and his arms come up and embrace Gari, and he screams back, and both of them begin to glow with this red internal light, and you know, if you're gonna leave, now's the time. So what do you all do?
What is...
I reach for Char.
I'll throw Caro over my shoulders, and then try to leave.
Wait, who are you throwing over your shoulder? Sorry.
Caro.
Caro.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for this. You guys start to flee, and as you do, you can, one of you, it doesn't matter who, it kind of it gets lost in the retelling later, who exactly saw this. But as you fled, as you scrambled over that stone rubble pile separating the throne room of the dwarven city of Kemalok from the grand hall. Someone looked back, and
I can tell you it was Ma'ak,
probably was.
because Ma'ak
You
is quite
see-
taken with this scene. And while he has been waiting for Char to approach so that he can thrust the wounded body of Zarn under his nose and beg for healing, he cannot help but be amazed to see the crowning of the new king and queen of Kemalok. May our paths cross again in another life.
And what possibly you saw is the two of them separating from their embrace and stepping into the throne room as a horde of Ankegs poured into the chamber. And the next thing you knew, stone began to collapse once more from the ceiling behind you. And red light fury erupted from those two forms. And you raced out into the open air, where you saw the collected population of Kled standing at the entrance. And keep in mind, maybe only 2, 3, 4 minutes, 10 minutes at most have passed since you first entered into this space. And you can see dwarves all around you, lining up with weapons in hand, ready to charge into the ruins of Kemalok. As you leave, as you exit into the bright, burning 125-degree Athasian sun. Anybody say anything as you exit?
Does
Are
Ma'ak
there medics amongst them? The equivalent of medics amongst these dwarves in here? Because we have two.
Only
civilian people.
you and Zarn have the ability to
And
cast
Zarn-
healing magic, but there are
Zarn
some
can't heal
others
himself,
who.
right?
Zarn is half conscious right now, same as Caro.
So
You
can I
are
heal,
the.
can I heal Zarn? And then Zarn, if Zarn gets healed, then he can heal Kiro?
You can heal Zarn to the point where you cauterize his stump and bring back his vitality.
Mm-hmm.
And that then allows the two of you to heal the wounds of the 5 of you, of the group of you, once you're out. But Zarn, you immediately realize after you heal them, they won't be traveling anywhere, because as a exarch, you do not have the power to restore lost limbs. That is going to take an exarch of considerably more power. Zarn will not be able to travel anytime soon. Before I continue, is there anything anyone wants to do else as you exit the ruins? You see Barnus standing there, utterly crestfallen, and the people of Kled standing, muttering to each other, talking, worrying, some people rush up to you. My son, is my son okay? And you did manage to pull two individuals out. Malek and Havelek were the two dwarves that you were able to save. Caro and Brule, you were very good friends with these two. They are, half conscious, but they're alive. And as you pull them, you see their family come and they kiss you, and they lay down upon their family members, and they cry and they weep and they thank the elements and they thank the Exarch. Is there anything any of you want to say at this point?
Should we seal off the entrance so these other dwarves don't go in there? Or is that considered bad because it's a ruin?
As you're discussing this, Baroness comes forward and he says, the mind. You're right. The mind must be sealed. It is too dangerous right now. We must stop work, Char. And I am so sorry. I know it has been your life's work. I know that your mother said to you that you must finish the work within the mine, but we cannot let anyone else go in until we know that it is safe.
At this point, everyone who is standing around here, which would include Char, Desi, Baroness, probably Caro as well, would actually hear for the first time the crisp sound of Ma'ak's telepathic voice as he projects his mind through mind link to basically 6 people around me, including Baroness. And I will say, you should know that you have a new king and queen who will keep the throne room safe until you are ready to replace them. And at this point, I will use the augmented ability of Meta Concert, and through my perfect memory, I will share my recollections of the last few minutes, including the death of Brule and Gari, as well as their coronation, shall we say. And so everyone has a clear picture of what it is that just occurred there, so that they will remember and tell their descendants as well.
Caro.
Okay, so when you share that, Baroness, okay, so Baroness and the other dwarves, Caro, and
Caro was semi-conscious
really,
for that. So as that image enters, he.
Yeah, I mean, like you're not. Let's be clear. You're not unconscious. You're semi-conscious.
Seeing it from his eyes, shatters Caro. Caro.
It is the way that dwarves in Athos signify a death is through wailing. So when Ma'ak expresses this psychically to those that he chooses to, the dwarves amongst him begin their wailing, and then that reverberates into the entire community. And
in truth,
the wailing lasts for 10 minutes at least, as they wail the death of those who were lost within the mine of Kemalok.
For the first time, Ma'ak actually feels like a tekchakak again.
Mm-hmm.
And for the next hour, in fact, I can do this. So every member of Kled can experience what happened. If they choose to.
Wait, say that one more time?
I can mind link for the next hour. I can switch at every round. I can switch to a new person. I can do this over and over and over again for the next hour at least. So this can be a community experience. That is something that the Tekchakak in me wants to do, is make this, a clutch sort of thing, especially because Boast is a member of this grand pack now. So this is something I could do for him too.
Yeah. Okay, well then, that's I really like that idea. So you do this, and you transition between, you create this connection between yourself and the dwarven community, that forges a understanding that you really didn't think was possible between species, but like with anyone outside of Thrycreen culture. And you come to understand that dwarves exist on a very fundamentally, they have this same reverence for community and for purpose. And it becomes really taxing. It becomes really emotionally taxing. And it takes a long time to get through. And you are utterly drained by the end because you have made so much contact with these people. And at the same time, you get this deeper understanding of the idea that there is this clear delineation between the living and the dead, and the focused and the lost, and what it means to be lost.
I think
what it means to be unfulfilled, because
right.
it's not about unfulfillment to the tribe. It's about unfulfillment to the self.
Right.
And
I think Ma'ak has come to a realization that he didn't realize that he had carried up till this point. But the declaration that Zarn had made to assist Ma'ak in recovering his ancestral weapon, suddenly he realizes that if we had failed at that, Zarn would share the same fate as Brul and Gari. And he suddenly feels the need, knowing that in their current state, there's no way that they can help. How do I actually, you know what? I think I might approach the other fire priest. I might approach Cha'ar for advice. Well, how do I... Cha'ar, and I would say this communicating telepathically so that language would not be a barrier between us. You would understand exactly what I meant when I ask you, how do I release Zarn from their focus in helping me recover the Amber Wedge?
So
can I ask, and I will, I'm doing this in
you
character.
You can absolutely ask that. So, Mark, for Cha'ar, what you would understand is that there are certain foci that dwarves take upon themselves that are utterly internalized. And nothing but the individual can release themselves from that focus. And that is a huge ask.
Do they, if a dwarf releases themselves from their focus, do they instantly have to have another one?
they have, yes, they have to release themselves. They have to have something else.
So it's basically shifting focus, not ending focus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if Zarn is injured and can't travel with us, if we shift his focus to being the healer of this village while we're out there and doing research for us, wouldn't that be his focus? We shift him
Yes.
to being.
Yeah, I think maybe Char could shift his own focus to taking Zarn's place.
Yeah, because I was going to say when you were talking about the emotional stuff, I want to say to Baroness that that he apologized to me for the all this being my life's work, but I wanted to say these are the first people I've actually had an emotional connection with since my mother's death, and I never even met her. She died in childbirth, so this feels like I want to say to him, the needs of the living are now far more important than the history of the dead. Because these people all risk their lives, or these entities all risk their lives. We all do this for each other, and I think that's given me.
Well, and he says to you at this moment, he says, Char, I know that your focus has been to translate everything that we uncover in the ruins. But I am sorry, my child. I have to close the ruins. And I know that you understand this. We have not been doing the right job to secure them. This cave-in should never have happened. It should never have happened. And until we can secure a reliable source for Hakafari timber, substantial timber, I can't let anyone else into the mines. And now the Brule and Gari are banshees. They will be guarding the throne room until we can complete them. So I don't know what to do for you. Your work here can't continue. You need to go and fulfill the promise of your focus. You need to be able to translate the passages from the Kemalok Book of Kings that we cannot, and you can't do that here. I think that the elements are speaking to us. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to see the world and learn what you can. That's the only way we can uncover the truth. And he hands you a set of tablets. Well, they're not tablets, actually. He hands you a leather satchel. When you open it up, inside are probably about 24 clay cylinders that are about 1 inch tall by about half an inch to an inch wide, and they have all like they're surrounded in these tiers of carvings that are inscribed in a calligraphic hieroglyphic language that you do not understand. And he basically tells you these represent the portions of the Kemalok Book of Kings that are undecipherable. And it's up to you to find what language these were written in and decipher what it is that they said. And it's not possible to do here.
Okay, I'm fine with that. He didn't need to do such a hard sell. I'm ready to get out of here.
Okay.
And can I bring him back an inhaler?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If you
We'll
can
visit
come
the
back with
apothecaries of Tyr.
Yeah. All you need is like find a scroll of regeneration and come back and decide. I don't know. Baroness Char, or not Baroness Zarn. Yeah. No, those are the other things. Like, as you're preparing to leave, the group of you, none of you took too much damage that couldn't be healed. That's the thing. What you learn about Zarn is you aren't capable. And no one within Kled is capable or knows anyone who is capable of healing Zarn's wounds. You need somebody who can cast the spell regeneration, which requires the efforts of a very powerful exarch to do.
Oh.
Until that happens, Zarn is basically a resident of Kled.
When you
But
say
we're alive!
when you say we can't heal him, we can stop his bleeding. It's just we can't regenerate his leg, right? We can,
Yes,
okay.
You heal him. He's still missing his left leg.
Is there a time
from
limit?
the knee down?
Is there, like with a real life amputation? Is there a time limit of regeneration?
No.
It can be if there's a powerful enough wizard, they can do it at any time.
If it's a
exarch,
powerful enough exarch, they can do it.
Okay,
and
cool.
There are ways to do it. It's exceedingly rare, but it is a potentiality. But until that happens, Zarn will not be able to travel. So this is the other reason why Baroness asks you, Char, to head out on this initial expedition to Tyr with the others to replace, because you were the exarch for Kled,
Mm-hmm.
and now Zarn is going to be the exarch for Kled.
At some point, Karo, even though Ma'ak may not even be within eyesight, you hear his telepathic voice in your mind go, "It seems that our friend Zarn will be staying here in Kled. Out of respect, could we ask you to watch over him?"
You don't get a response. You get an affirmation. Yes, but
the emotion is enough. I can read that. And,
what's Karo's thoughts about like as this group begins to finally once more set off from Kled towards Tyr. At this point, Caro will be continuing with them by himself, minus Brule. What does Caro think? What are Caro's thoughts in this moment?
Tumultuous. Guilt, anger, still processing the death of his closest friend and brother. No clear thoughts. Can't focus on the task at hand. If you've lost someone that close to you, you're not doing anything. You're going through the motions. And Caro is just going through the motions right now.
Can I get the sense from our brief interaction here, emotionally speaking, he does not want to come with us?
Well, hold on. Before you do that, as you set out, Barnus approaches you, Caro. He says, Caro, I know that I know that this was supposed to be much easier than it has turned out to be. But you must understand, your friends, bro, Gary, Kemalok, Malek, they're working towards something greater than themselves, greater than us. A community, a place where dwarves can be us. I think that these people, I don't know why, but I think they can provide some effort toward that goal.
Okay.
I know that it hurts. In my 150 years since I have established this community, I have seen so many of my brethren die. But we're working towards something. We're working towards a place where we can be proud of who we are. A home for us. And I hate that I have to shut the excavations down now. But until we know more, I can't risk any more lives. There's so few of us. Please see them through to Tyr.
Okay.
Or at least see them safely to where they can get to Tyr. These will be allies we can rely upon. They did not come back for nothing. If someone comes back, it's because they're worth
They're worth trusting. They came back, and they're not dwarves. It was a mantis man, a human or half-elf, I'm not sure. And they came back. They didn't have to. We need to take any opportunity we have. I'm sorry, I'm an old man. Maybe I am too trusting.
No, it's something that I think maybe Brule would agree. And maybe action is what I need to take my mind off of things. I'll take him there. I'll lead him just fine.
Okay. So, because we have the group of you set off in the next few days. You take a couple more days to recuperate. In that time, actually, Boast comes back, and you have one more opportunity to say goodbye to him. Boast was always a man of few words. And so you say your goodbyes. He says his few words of goodbye, and you head back out into the desert. And several days as you travel through, you're given basically anything that you could have asked for. As much water as you can possibly carry for the journey. You're given all of the provisions, rations, anything that you can possibly need. Unfortunately, there are no beast of burdens that they were able to offer you, because Kled is still attempting to rebuild their community after the raids of the Juradai elves. And so you set off on foot, and several days later, you find yourself in a deep canyon south.
I have something I'd like to point out as we go on, just something that I think we would communicate. I think at some point, once this is all over, Ma'ak and Desi would probably check in, just, after that experience. But I think what he would communicate to her telepathically is, it looks like we're back in the same situation where we were before, where it would be great if we could just run, but we have a dwarf in tow. Do you think, however, that he knows how to ride an animal, and can we catch one that he could ride?
I thought you were going to offer your own services.
Earlier, we talked about bugs, and I said I wanted to have a bug as a mount. So,
there's Kanks. You could have a huge beetle, right? That's what they.
Yeah, because I want to name it. I want to name it Herbie.
I mean, unfortunately, like the dwarves of Kled have no Kanks to offer, but maybe.
Well, I mean, I guess
I have a lot of kinks to offer.
Nice. No, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, in 5th edition, half elves have animal charming or whatever, and if we could catch an Erdlu and she could charm it, then Char could ride it and we could go faster.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah.
Am I the only dwarf? Am I the only dwarf?
Karo is leading you. So it's both you and Karo.
We're gonna ditch Karo soon enough.
But Karo wasn't your original character, right?
No. Karo is just an intro guy.
So both Joes will be new people, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah, because Karo is there to lead you to the oases that are hidden.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's cool.
So, but yes. as you are, and sure, Desi, give me an animal handling check to see if you're able to catch an Erdlu or a Erdland or a Inex or any other kind of domesticatable animal. That
I'm sure
tend to
Ma'ak
roam
can find
free amongst the.
Like a dragon.
Can Moth
Yeah,
use his telepathy on animals to like make them more docile or more domesticated?
Kinda. I mean, I don't have those specific abilities, but yeah, I have ways to.
You can like nudge them.
I can. It's actually easier for me to find them. I can detect.
Oh, I just got
Oh, nice.
Oh, I got a new
Nice.
ride! Woo!
bounce, everybody.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, that was a nat 20?
Yeah.
You
Oh
get
my
him out.
god.
Does that mean she
Finally,
gets
finally, I'm not mad at you for running away.
All right, hold on, because Balak over here needs to think about this for a second, and I also need to take a fucking piss.
It is seven. It is.
We
almost
are
7:30.
right towards the end of the session, so let me go take a piss, and let me figure out exactly what this means.
Okay, so like
as a nat 20.
So
and I'll be right back. So you guys, chat.
Hold on.
Make this good dead air.
yeah, right.
Sorry, what were you saying, Joe?
Oh, I was trying to say, this would be a good time for anybody else to take a break, and I was going to set a timetable, like, 3 minutes or something like that.
How much time do we have left, Joe?
I mean, yeah,
As late as we want to go?
Yeah, fucking. We could
okay.
play for 36 hours. It doesn't matter to
I
me.
periodically urinate on my own timetable because I could not possibly wait till bio break. That's just not happening when I'm drinking cider.
Yeah.
Sorry, baby bladder.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
so, are we going to play next week? Because the 2 weeks from today is both Father's Day for everyone else and my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
I
Big
think
Papa.
the intention was to play 2 weeks in a row since we skipped a week.
And then
Right.
then again the 27th.
That's what I
So-
have too.
okay,
I
all
have
right,
the
great,
6th, 13th,
great.
and 27th.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
But
And
not
so,
the 20th.
I apologize for last weekend, but my cousin, who I haven't seen in 10 years, he and his wife were at LAX for 3 hours.
No,
So-
it happens. Like real life,
Whatever.
has to
Life
take.
happens.
take
like I said,
priority.
post
you know.
COVID, I don't know when I'm going to see them again. So I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
I appreciate the understanding. I know I'm the new guy who gums things up, but I
yeah. No
Mark,
worries.
you've never
I
made a
mean,
mistake. You're a perfect boy.
and the more practice we get with this, the more like alternative stuff we'll be able to do. I think kind of like I was glad that we did some of what we did tonight, because like the idea of like the role playing opportunities inherent in like sharing psychic space and sharing memories and like that kind of stuff gives like plenty of opportunity for us to like do like in character development at any time. Either like this is what we did around the campfire one night, that kind of stuff, or
Right.
whatever. And like,
well, this one really felt like for the first time like we were all working together. At least for me,
Yeah.
it felt like a well-oiled machine.
Also, I'm surprised at how much of a shit I give, especially about these throwaway characters that will never be again. I'm like super happy
what
with
a legacy,
Rule's arc for the 2 moments that he was on camera.
Yeah.
No, holy shit.
I love that.
We couldn't have planned how well that went.
Yeah, I'm so glad that
Brule,
happened. Yeah.
Brule was the Drew Barrymore in Scream at this point.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Celebrity cameo.
Yes,
In and out quick.
Wait, that's not the lead? What the hell's going on here?
I mean, but think about it. Like, who is the chronicler of the continuing book of the Kings of Kemalok? It's Cha'ar. And
Yeah.
who's Cha'ar gonna say is the current king? It's Brule, right? No way. No way. That's awesome, right? Talk about like building into the canon and then whatever else comes from here. Because obviously something's creepy in Kemalok, right? Like there's a reason.
Every time someone says Kemalok, I think Kemalok.
Yes.
I want to do an all dwarf
that's-
version.
That is so obviously what they were doing. But,
Of course
yeah.
it is. Of course it is.
So it would be a
So-
short musical.
All right, let's hop
So,
back into it.
okay. So, Oh shit! Where did we? Okay, so I
You were
'cause I
trying
was
to figure
listening-
out what her 20 meant.
Oh right.
I think.
Do you need
I think-
another
Some more
bio break?
wine.
No,
I think because
sorry,
she rolled
I
a
was
20.
listening to you
God
guys.
damn it.
Yeah.
I think because she rolled a 20, she should get to pick the animal.
Yeah.
What did she find? She find a kank, she find a Erdlu, she find a Crodlu, she find a
Well,
Echolot,
okay, so
you know, like
yeah, Emily, what is it? Okay, so as you were searching, yeah, basically you can find whatever you want.
Can I have those flying manta rays?
No. A ground creature. It's got to be a ground creature, but I do think that well, okay, because like I'm the only one, like Rob and I are really the only ones who have any kind of deep understanding of Dark Sun, and I have the deepest understanding of Dark Sun.
Yeah, real deep.
I am going to say that you were able to find and tame an Erdlu. That's
Cool.
the most
That's cool.
common type of desert domesticatable creature that you could find in Dark Sun.
Is
Dark
that the
Sun.
big ass beetle?
No, it's the for those who remember playing Final Fantasy. It's
Chocobo?
basically a chocobo.
but it's more lizard-like than bird-like, right? It's got
For those of us with
yeah, it's
no
more reptilian
yeah.
than bird.
Bipedal
but it-
lizard ostrich.
It looks like an ostrich who's basically imagine a it's a dinosaur ostrich. Yeah, it's a fucking dinosaur. So it doesn't have feathers. But what the Erdlu do have in my world, because I have changed them from the original text, is that Erdlus they're kind of like desert camels. Of course, they look like a giant ostrich, but they have this gobble, like whatever that fucking fleshy shit is that hangs off of a turkey or a chicken.
A waddle.
A wobble, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Hangs down their neck, and it's covered. It's all creased and grossed and engorged and red, and it's covered in poisonous spines. That if you try to touch it, it will barb you like a cactus.
aging Dr. Freud.
Yeah.
Very aroused.
Yeah, but what make Erdlu really kind of the perfect desert mount is the fact that waddle that hangs down their front will engorge itself with water. So if you know how to access it, your Erdlu can become sort of a last resort. Sort of like Luke Skywalker and his whatever the fuck it was.
Tauntaun.
Tauntaun.
Yes, Tauntaun. So it's very much a Tauntaun of the desert.
So do we milk the water out of it, or does that mean we have to kill it?
No, you
No,
do,
not until you take
want
it on
to-
a few dates.
Yeah, if you want to access the water out of your Erdlu, you
Just
do have
rub
to
it
kill
really fast.
Oh, it's
yeah.
It's only
You
through
have,
death.
yeah, you have to kill
Classic wiener
it, and
jokes.
you also have to avoid its horrifying poisonous spines. So it's good for a bard who's looking for some quick poison. It's also good for anyone who's looking for a quick water draft. So yes, you are able to acquire an Erdlu
and
through
acquiring-
Desi's expertise.
and getting the poison out is just as deadly as getting the water out.
I imagine
Yes.
poison. Oh.
I mean, for the Erdler.
like,
So it's like a
I
honeybee?
mean, like it's different. It's different roles, but yeah. I mean, like
the
if you
Erdler does
fail,
not
you could be
survive
fucked.
either extraction.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Either extraction, it does not. It does not survive. Exactly. So
it's not
but
like
it's a good
Capri Sun?
mount.
It's a
you
good
can-
starter
you can-
vehicle.
It's a good starter
Yeah.
vehicle. You can
Nice.
put your shit on it. They're easily domesticatable. It only takes maybe about a half a day or a day, depending on your animal handling role.
Nat
to
20.
Domesticate that Erdlu. But just because, like, you know, who gives a shit? We're going to say that Desi manages to find this Erdlu, track it down amongst a herd, and domesticate it, and make their way on. And where we will end today's session is where you have all entered into a series of very deep canyons.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Holy shit, these canyons talk.
The cat is a domestic species of small carnivorous mammal. It is the only domesticated species in the family Felidae, and is often referred to as the domestic cat to distinguish it from the wild members of the family. Do you want me to keep reading?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
fucking
This is
say,
quality
what the
fucking
fuck?
entertainment.
Just keep going. Oh my god! Shut the fuck up! What the fuck?
You said the word serious or something like
Oh
that.
my
Wow.
god!
Yeah.
The perfect
That's
bookend.
crazy.
I was
I
going to
mean,
say
at
that.
this point, if you're still watching us on Twitch, we are straight off the deep end.
Hey, don't lump me in with
you. Okay, so at this point, the group of you have been traveling for several days as you have made your way out of Cled towards Tyr. And Caro, at this point, is your sole guide, guiding you through the threatened lands of the Juradai, the elves that you completely fucked over when this all began. And thankfully, as you travel, you do not encounter any of their scouts or any of their war parties. And you make your way out of the Rocky Badland territory of their threatened lands. You know, like areas where it's like deep ravines and massive pillars rising straight up out of the ground, stone arches, and then you come out of that region into a land of what looks like blood red sand, and you follow along the southern rim of these badlands across this red plain of sand. And then at one point you turn directly southwest and head straight across the desert, across a sandy waste, dunes. And the entire time you think, if that man dies, that man in front of me, if that dwarf Caro dies in front of me, we are doomed, because none of you have the faintest fucking notion of where you are, outside of the fact that way there are some mountains, and that way there's nothing.
Can we make sure the Urdu has drunk a lot of water before we leave?
I mean, you do what you can, and Caro is the one who navigates you to wadis, to wells, and to oases. And when you start to get concerned is after the third oasis is dry and the second wadi or well is also dry or guarded so that you can't even approach it. And you keep going to the point where at this point all of you have incurred a level of exhaustion, so you're all suffering from the effects of dehydration, and then you begin to head back into Rocky Badlands, into these stony areas where there are deep ravines that run through high bluffs, and the rock is red and gray and blue and green, and it just bleeds into the sand. And then probably on your 5th or 6th day, it's hard to say, you see overhead, as you're working your way through a ravine, you see these vulture-like forms flying overhead, diving down into the ravine in front of you.
Oh, do they look
And
familiar?
as you get a little bit closer, you realize they're not vultures. They look like vultures, but they're the size of yourself. Body-wise, they have wings that are at least a 20 or 30-foot wingspan, and they have legs that are semi-humanoid, and their heads definitely look like vultures, but at least 2 or 3 times the size. And they are diving down into a ravine. And as you crest a hill, you can see down in the bottom of that ravine 3 forms. There is an individual lying prostrate upon the ground, wrapped in cloth, cloak, or maybe death shroud, hard to tell. The other individual is at least 2, 3, 4 fucking times the size of a human, swatting them away, pounding on the ground, yelling, running around. Fucking monster of a person. And the third individual is also some kind of bird creature, but wings of glistening blue silver, a hooked beak, wide eyes. It flies up into the air for a moment. You see its wings spread out, not nearly as wide as the bird creatures circling and dive bombing overhead. But it flies up. It seems to attack with some kind of weapon, polearm perhaps, and then lands immediately somewhere on the other side of the ravine, screeches in this piercing, hawk-like voice. Whereas the greasy birds flying overhead are no. diving down, dropping rocks upon them. And I think that's where we'll leave it for the time being.
I wonder who they are.
I don't know. They sound
I
interesting.
wonder. They sound very interesting.
I think everybody should go back to
Very
Cled.
interesting.
Let's just role play a shop. You know, all open up a business together.
Okay, so next week, before we get into some crunchy stuff, next week we will pick up right there, and you're going to meet the other two main characters from our group, played by Joe and Joe.
Double J.
JJ.
Double J, the JJ, but JJ.
Mojo Jojo's.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool. Well, thank you guys for watching, and appreciate
exactly.
it.
And I'm going to say before we sign off, make sure that you please follow us. That you please, if you liked what we were doing today, if you would like to see more, please, tell your friends about it. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to that first stage.
Yeah.
Twitch channel, we can get affiliate status, so we can get those subs going. Sub.
Yeah.
Gotta get 50 followers first.
You gotta like, subscribe, get notifications, kiss your parents, love your parents. You only got
hug everybody. Go hug somebody. Say like, hey, I'm hugging you because I'm following Adventure Hook.
As long as as long as it's safe, don't go hugging somebody covered in knives.
Yeah, please. Yeah, make sure it's consensual.
Yeah,
a consensual Adventure Hook hug.
Yeah.
And then next week, please come back to the tent so we can tell you more of this great story.
Okay, and wave goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye,
awesome. Thanks all.
everybody.